Joined by Kirby Dean, the head coach of the Eastern Mennonite University Royals. They were picked number 6 in this year's ODAC men's basketball preseason poll. Coach, a little bit of a different story from previous years in that normally you have your 5 starters back, but this year all 5 of those guys were seniors last year, and now they've gone, so you have a new starting lineup for yourself this year. Talk a little bit about what you've seen from your team so far in preseason practice.
Yeah, you know, we graduated, I guess, 79 or 80 points out of 87. So probably we're as much of an unknown as anybody in the league. When I saw that we were picked 6th, my first thought was somebody probably picked us 3rd or 4th, and somebody else probably picked us 10th or 11th, because I don't think there's any way to know. I'm pretty sure that if anybody else does know, I wish they'd come tell me, because I have no idea. But we have some really, really good young players who didn't get to play a lot because of the guys that were in front of them. So I think you know, the junior class, Owen Longnecker and Andrew Thorne, I think those 2 guys have a chance to be really, really solid, and Andrew has a chance maybe to be an all-league type talent. And then our sophomore class, a lot of the same thing. You know, Adam Burrows is a kid that was highly recruited, but didn't get a lot of playing time because George Johnson was the guy playing in front of him. R.J. Sims, Todd Phillips is playing in front of you. Now, how much playing time are you going to get when there's an All-American playing in front of you? So I think the cupboard's probably not nearly as bare as a lot of people probably think, but these guys just haven't had the opportunity to show what they can do between the lines.
Because we knew about that class, we knew that they were very athletic, and you were able to run up and down the court most of the time and score, like you said, 87 points a game. What kind of style do you expect out of your team this year? What type of style do you expect to run for your team?
There's going to be some subtle changes, but it won't be as drastic as maybe people would expect. We're going to change our offensive philosophy a little bit and get a little more structured because these guys are so young. You know, I did the same thing with George and those guys. When they were freshmen, we were more structured, and as they matured, we loosened the reins a little bit and let them play. It's going to be the same thing with this group. We're not as skilled as we were because we don't have a George Johnson to knock down threes from 10 foot behind the line. We don't have Todd Phillips that can just take the game over. But we're probably longer and more athletic than we've ever been. So we're going to try to actually run more. We're going to try to even get up and down and get out in transition more if that's possible. So hopefully there'll be some subtle changes, a little more structure to our offense, but the open floor transition game will still be the same.
You talked about some of the returning guys to your squad this year, but what about some of the new guys that could make the name for themselves?
We have a transfer and then probably 4 freshmen who all 5 of those kids, is that right? 3, 4, yeah, 5 will be in the rotation. David Falk is a freshman kid, 6'6" post player that prepped at Hargrave, who had a couple Division I offers, but really liked what we had to offer at Eastern Mennonite as far as school and environment. Ryan Yates is another prep school kid from Massanutten. Both those guys are a little more mature because they spent a year prepping, and when you're prepping, you're playing against big-time Division I players. So that's helped both those guys. And then James Williams is a freshman from Archbishop Carroll. He played for Reggie Williams, who played for the Hoyas back in the 80s. So he's played against big-time competition as well. So those guys won't be shocked by the level of talent. So I expect them to be able to make contributions early. And then Jeremy Heiser is another freshman who's been out of it for a couple years but was an all-state player. And then J.R. Gray is a transfer from Mary Washington who, if he can focus and really bring his A game, he's got a chance to be a difference maker for us.
And let's look at the league as a whole. Last 2 years, we put 6 teams in the NCAA tournament, and EMU was a part of that group a couple of years ago. Talk a little bit about what you see for the ODAC this year coming out.
Well, I think people recognize that Wesleyan and Sydney are at a really, really good spot right now. I think after that, there's a lot of really good teams, but nobody's quite sure exactly what the pecking order will be. So, what I've said to our guys is, and I'm real transparent, I don't sugarcoat it, it is what it is. We're not as good as Virginia Wesleyan or Hampton Sydney right now, not right at this moment. But my goal is, by the time February rolls around, I'd like for them to be looking at the bracket thinking, I hope we can dodge Eastern Mennonite because they're really coming on.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining me today, and good luck this season.
Thank you.